Next thing is we're going to use some more hinges to apply these to. So I have a 2 1/8 by 8 1/4. The base sheet is 8 1/4, so these will fit on there without, going over, so that's perfect length. So if yours is a little different, you're just going to make it to that size. I scored, just go ahead and score another one with you. Okay, this one does not look like it's cut quite straight, but that'll be alright because the first part of this goes underneath. So anyway, we're going to score at a 1/2 inch. We're going to score at 1 inch. We're going to score at 1 1/2 inches. And that's going to give us, oops, jumped right off that sucker. I don't like when that happens. Excuse me, I'm going to just kind of get the end of these done because it's just over the edge of my little one. Okay, so we're going to score them like this. We're going to take the first one and score it and fold it back on itself. Okay, and then we're going to do the second one as a mountain fold. Put ATG and glue is what I'm going to do. You can put score tape. Okay, and I'm going to put glue. Let's see, I don't know, I think I would normally use Scotch Quick Dry because it is, to me, the strongest, but I think I left it downstairs. So I'm using tacky glue and it will work. And I'm just going around the ATG, around the edges that it didn't get on. And that way everything's being double glued. Okay. So, again, the two center ones are going to be put together. So we can go ahead and do that. Slide that together. So that's done. And then we're going to slide the sheet in on the back side, not getting it into, let me get down on this. Let it focus. Focus. Hello. My poor nails. Okay, so I'm trying to not get it all the way into that fold. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it farther away out of that fold. Okay, so if you can see that, I'm going to make sure on the back side that I'm square. Sorry, it's not wanting to focus. Okay. Let me move you back out a bit because I've got you too close. Okay. So I'm just making sure that I'm even, and I'm going to fold this over and pinch everything down. I'm going to make sure that now that's pushed up into the fold. Okay. So that is what we end up with, is our piece on the end, but yet it is going to be strong because it's doubled and not just one single strand. If you want it to make sure it's even stronger, you can put some Tyvek in there, whatever you want to do with that. And I would suggest that you let this dry for a few minutes down into this, you know, kind of push it all down and just hold it so that all of that catches and dries the way you want it to. So the next thing we're going to do is the other side, and so I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we've got both of these on here, that's for my second page, I have taken a piece of 12 by 12. I kind of did not realize that one of my 12 by 12 pages was not quite 12 by 12, so I have some funky sized ones. But basically you're going to take a piece of 12 by 12 paper and you're going to cut off the top. Then you're going to cut, measure over 6 inches and cut. And then on that 6-inch side, you're going to measure over 4 inches and cut, 4 inches and cut, and then you'll have 3 4 by 6 pieces from each side. Okay, so that's what I did. And so I get these. Alright, so now I'm just going to kind of eyeball, because I'm going to want this, you know, first one to be here. The next one, you know, like this. And then I've got, you know, or however I want to do it. I can put this here, put this here, and put this here. So I can do something like that. But all we're going to do, let's see. Okay. So you have an option here. You can put, well, let's go ahead and just do this first. I'm going to take a pair of scissors, which I have walked away with a pair of my scissors. So you're going to take a pair of your scissors and you're just going to, you can guesstimate, you can use a ruler, find your center, and so there you have that. So, but actually, because we're not going to cut the center, we're going to cut it in thirds. So this is 8. So 3, 6, 9, 2.5, 2.5, and 2.5. Something around in that area is going to be just fine. So we're just going to get it at 2.5, and we're going to cut it down to the end. And we'll do it. Let's just do another 2.5 over here. And again, I'm just guesstimating. Okay. And you want to make sure those have got some play in them. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to cut 2.5-ish. Right down to the end. Make sure it, because then you don't want to rip it, you want to cut it. And then 2.5-ish down here. You can just eyeball it. Try and get it where it's, you know, somewhat centered, but it really doesn't matter. There. Now I've got those. Okay. Make sure there's some play in them. Alright. So now you have 2 choices here. You can just leave this flap on here and flap it open like this. Or you can put 2 on there, scoring at the 1/2 inch mark, so then this would open up off of this flap, and this would open up this way off the flap. Or you can just put 1 on each side. But if you're going to do the 2, you're going to have to make sure that both of them are on top of the next flap so that everything will move smoothly. Okay, you can't put 1 on one side and 1 on the other, because then you're going to catch this other flap. Alright, so I think I'm going to head and do it this time just with 1. I think. And I can always go back and change my mind, but remember, this album is just for me, and at this point, well, I've cut all of this up, and I've cut a different one up for the other page. I'm going to use them all, even though they're different sizes. You just want to make sure that you've got what you want in the different locations. So I'm going to do that, and then really what's underneath is just going to be, so then you can put one of these underneath this one. So that's those two. See, I have that, so that's probably going to look better. So I have those two, and there we go. So they're, but you see this one, how different it is, because I had already cut a piece off of this one and I didn't realize it. But that's okay. I'm not going to put it to waste. Now I need to get my little scoreboard here, and I need to give all of them a 1/2 inch score line. And since I don't like working over on this side, this is 6 inches, so at 5.5 I'm scoring. I just need to make sure that I don't have anything that's up and down. See, I want this to be up, and I'm putting it over here, so I want to score this side. So we're just going to get that right there. Okay. And let's see, this is going to flap. I like them up. It reminds me of a bird flying. So I want to and this one doesn't matter. Okay. And then this one, I'm going to flip it this way. And this one, I definitely want this up. I want it creased here, so I'm going to flip it this way. See, and look how even shorter this one is. But I'm going to use it. I'm not going to let it go to waste. But if we'll do it this way. So it's, I'm just going to do a little shorter one on that one. So it'll be the last flip. This is going to get covered, but that's okay. Okay, so now I've got my 3. Put this away. Alright. And I am going to use, because these are going to get some use, I'm going to use score tape. And then this is the outside. So you want to do, this is my top one, and this is my inside one. And the inside one, I'm going to fix it so it's, oh, this is the same distance, just not, okay. So, but if I have one that's a little shorter, I'm going to make it even on the top, at the top, and I'll make it even on the bottom at the bottom, and just kind of center the center, you know. Okay, so let's move these. Keep them in order. So now I'm going to do the bottom one first. And you want to make sure that you don't put it to the score line. So I'm going to lay it down here, and I'm going to line my score line up where this is so that it's beyond the score line, totally beyond the score line, and line it up here with the top of the page. That stuff is strong. Okay. And then I'm just going to bend it over. Here we go. And then this other one, you're just going to line up the same way. Okay, let me turn it this way. Well, I hope that was on camera. So I'm going to line this up with this corner. Just kind of push down with that and then line it up with the top mainly and lay it down. And there you're sealing both sides together, and then you're going to fold that flap and you're going to fold that flap, and there you have a waterfall within a waterfall. Okay, so we're going to do it again. And we've got score line and score line, and it doesn't really matter, just whichever one I'm going to like here. And I think I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do, can I have that way? That's okay if it goes down. I think, yeah, I think I'll do that. So I've kind of switched gears, which is fine. It's all good. And this one, because I'm centering it, that's going to look kind of cool too. Okay, so we're going to put the score tape onto the interior parts. This is, oops, the second way of doing my Style 4 for my fall mini album. That I showed you the first time with the first part of the video with the plastic, but then I ran out of that and I wasn't going to cut anymore. And I really like this idea as well. So now we're going to center, and this one it probably would have been better for me to shorten it up, but I didn't. But we'll take care of that as well. And this is going to be my bottom, and I want to, again, I'm sorry, I'm going to move it this way so I can see. I'm going to center this. I've got my score line, and we can lay these down here and make sure it's not going to go past those, and that it's lined up straight. And I've got to turn it this way so I can see now again. Line up straight. Oops, then I move it. Holding it down as tight as I can, and I move it. Okay, and that it's even with that, so it can come out just a smidge. Straight, and double check that one more time. Yeah, that's close enough. And we're going to close that up right there. Now this one is going to go on top of that, and we're centering it. Get that little bit of tape back up on itself. If you ever have it hanging off the edge, just fold it back over. Now I'm going to center this. There we go. Just lay that down. And I'm going to find it. I've got a mess over here where you guys can't see. And you ain't going to see it. Here and here. And now that's the little buddy for embossing, and you just put that on there. And then later on I will come back with my remover, little sponge thing. I've got a video on how to get rid of the sticky. So I'll if I remember, I'll link that. Anyway, so that's the first part of that. Okay, and then we're going to again fold on the score line, open it up, and fold on the score line. Now normally you're not going to have to deal with this because your 12 by 12 page, just try and remember that it's 12 by 12, although it does add a little bit of interest on top of, oh, I should have put this, there we go. It adds a little more interest on top of being kind of cool. Okay, so we're going to have this here, and I'm pretty sure I don't have any, yeah. And this one's going the opposite direction, but because I changed my mind, but that's okay, it's all good. So we're going to do score tape, and both of these are even in size. This one's a little shorter, but it'll equal out on this side. So we're going to put score tape from top to bottom. And again, I'm using the score tape because I envision these getting a lot of use. And keep pulling it closer to myself where it's more comfortable to work, but then I'm off camera. Sorry. Oh, poop. Excuse me, my language. So when you do something like that, just grab and color. And, you know, whatever floats your boat. And then later on I'll go back to that. I should be doing my edges anyway. Get rid of that white core. Okay, there we go. Alright, so flip that back over, and that's how it's going to work. So we're going to take the bottom one first. Hello. And I've got little bits hanging over on the one end. I'm going to line up with the bottom of my page. I'm going to take this page and not lay it down, but just make sure I'm lining up with that, and make sure that I am going to clear let's see. Oh, that's right, this one was a little shorter, so I'm pulling this one in just a little bit, because it was a little shorter than the other one. Yeah, so that's about it. And I'm going to push this down. Okay. And then we're going to take the tape backing off of this one, and we're going to line the score marks up, because we know that the score marks, and that ought to lay down, oops, just right and seal the edges. So there we go. And now we're going to fold on the score mark, flip, and fold on the score mark. Oh, that one's a little crooked. Let's get bone folder, bone folder. There we go. Now it's nice and straight. Okay. So there is a waterfall inside a waterfall, and now I'm going to do these 3 pages as well. And if you want them to intertwine, then you're going to have to work them like you could do this one first, so it'll lay here, and then you'll do this one, and it'll lay on top of this one, and then you do this one, and it'll lay on top of this one. If you do this just the way I did, where you're going to lay this page on, then they're all going to, it's a little different. I don't know. I found that going from the bottom up on, you know, doing the opposite of what you did here tends to make them lay nicer. But that's simply your choice. And remember, now we're going to have our page is going to be closed up. Where's my finished one that I started off showing you? So we're going to have the pages close up like this with a ribbon closure. Of course, you can do any kind of closure you want. I just got the 1/8 of an inch gusset there, and this is how I prep it. I get the score tape off. As soon as I take all this off, I will put another piece here, because this is going to be fairly heavy. You want to have, and then I will put glue in these inner parts, whatever glue you have, you know, the Fabri-Tac glue, Sobo, yeah, Sobo, Scotch Quick Dry, Aleene's, whatever you have, just stick in the centers a little bit so that you're going to get really good coverage when you lay it down on the page. I did the same thing when I laid down these because they're quite heavy. I did the same kind of technique on the back end of this to get it down onto the page. Okay, so next we're going to do a quick flip through, and I'm going to show you how I mat each one of these. Each one of my style pages. I have 4 styles. Okay? Alright, so I'll see you back here in a minute. I'm going to finish up these 2 guys, and then we'll be ready to do a quick flip through and matting. Alright? Bye for now. Okay, let me just quickly show you what I mean. So I've got this one to go in the bottom, and I'm doing this one first, so that this will be underneath this one, and so on. So I'm matching up where my score marks are going to be, because I want them I want them to clear this when I put it down. And I want to match up, make sure everything's nice and straight so it looks good. So I'm going to lay this over. And one thing I did go back and burnish, but you should burnish these. And then this is going to be this way. And I'm going to match up my ends when I can. You should be able to match yours up all the time, but I was silly. I'm at least going to make sure I'm matching up my fold marks, my score lines here. And then that seals those papers in. Give a bit of burnish, fold, flip, and fold. And there's the first one. And then you're going to do this one, and then you're going to do this one. And this way you will have them flipping in and out of each other. All right. Okay, guys. Get to crafting.